when he got to Alabama on the full ride, got the fancy dorm room. He spent the first few months in Alabama sleeping on the floor. Said he was just more comfortable. He's more used to that.
That's an unbelievable story. I mean, for a long time, he didn't want anybody to know about it. And how could you argue with that? But then when his story finally came out and he embraced it and he understood that he could help other people, other kids going through the same thing, that they could understand that they have an opportunity, they have a shot if they work hard enough, and he owned that, and it became his testimony, and it's a really powerful one.
Yo, what's good? Hit that thumbs up button. And notifications too, as YouTube be hating. So I was watching the game Monday night, and not even halfway through the broadcast, about 5 minutes into the show, they're already talking about Najee Harris, who came from Alabama, the Steelers draft pick, first-round draft pick. Of course, they'll name your stats. Oh, he's 215 pounds and this and that. And then they start going on about, and ESPN loves we all love a rags to riches story, but ESPN, if they find out you're a young black athlete and you used to be homeless or your mother was on drugs or any of that, they are going to exploit it for ratings and good television. They did it with Des Bryant. His mother was a drug addict and she was in the streets. They did it with Mike Evans, his dad and everything. They did it with Tyrann Mathieu. They do it. They'll put it on an E60 special real quick. And Najee Harris was homeless growing up. Don't know how long it was, if it was for a few months or a couple of years, but they just kept going on and on. He was homeless, right? He came from nothing. He was homeless. Football saved his life. I'm like, why do they act? And it's like Biggie said, either you sling and crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. That mindset is a big part of why that mindset and why every black kid in the hood wants to be an athlete as opposed to being doctors, lawyers, and things like that, things that they have a higher percentage chance of becoming, is because they see this. Now, if a kid is going through what Najee Harris is going through and he's playing Little League, he's probably inspired by that story and thinks he could be the next Najee Harris. Maybe he will, but he probably won't. They did it with LeBron when he came out of high school. Well, his mother was... she was in the streets and she was a teenager and he didn't know his father. And they just kept pushing that and pushing that. I'm like, why do y'all do this? So football basically saved Najee Harris's life, pretty much. That's what y'all are saying. He wouldn't have been nothing without football. And shout out to him for speaking up for himself and saying, hey, I didn't sleep on no damn floor. I slept on a bed. He was one of the top players at the school. You think they wasn't taking care of him? I mean, they will do anything to push this narrative that, without sports, most black athletes, most black males, the only way we're going to get out is through drugs, rap music, or sports. And for those of us who don't sell drugs or don't rap or don't play, ball, then I guess we all just screwed. You know what I'm saying? We just got to work jobs and hustle and find our way out of here, because that mindset that they've always created is that, this football can save you. Basketball. Now, do I think LeBron, for example, would have been a billionaire if it wasn't for basketball? Probably not. I think he would have been, he's a level-headed, mature dude. He's always been smart. I think LeBron would have been successful at anything he did, even if he couldn't play basketball. Good networker and all of that, even though his new commercials are kind of weird. But to say that somebody wouldn't be anything without football or basketball is ridiculous. And they just kept going on. Oh, this kid, he hasn't had anything. He was so poor. They had to eat porridge out of their hands because they didn't have enough spoons, and just they will butter it up so hard. And they don't talk about the white players who grew up wealthy. John Lynch grew up rich. They didn't really talk about that much when he stepped on the field. But they always have an agenda as a broadcast. And I'm going to blame it on ESPN because they ran the broadcast for Monday Night Football. They always do this. Every single time. They did it. Hell, NBC did it with Richard Sherman. Now, it was a different case, but they kept on bringing up the fact that Richard Sherman had a misdemeanor charge and that video over the offseason. It's like, bro, every football fan already knew that. You didn't have to keep bringing that up when he stepped on the field. But they know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like the distraction from the actual game. And Najee Harris has had a good season so far. I think the Steelers are going to run him to death, and he's probably going to be worn out by the end of the season, even as a rookie, because, at one point he led the team in catches as a running back. But it's got to be embarrassing, even if you did suffer through some level of poverty as a child or as an adult, Not everybody is comfortable putting their business out there. You know what I mean? Yeah, okay, he was homeless, but you don't have to keep on reinforcing that on us over and over. What are we supposed to feel sorry for him now? He's living his dream. He's a first-round draft pick. He's making millions. He's making money. He's taking care of his family. Why do you need to keep telling us that he's, he was broken, homeless, and poor? And they just kept going and going. And I think it was Steve Levy, Louis Riddick, Booger McFarlane. It was annoying as hell. It's like, y'all don't have to keep on, reeking for sympathy for us. And y'all don't do this with they just do this with the black players all the time. It just gets old to me. And I'm like, am I the only one who is bothered by that shit? Like, you don't have to do this all the time. You know what I mean? We out here, and not all of us could dribble and play ball. And a lot of us are still out here successful and doing our thing. There is a life outside of sports for black males. Black males, you don't have to play sports in order to make money and be successful in life. You know what I mean? Najee Harris would have been okay, more than likely, had he kept his head on straight. Now, there are some cats out there that just ain't got their mind straight, that if it wasn't for sports, they probably would have been, in the crazy house somewhere. You know what I mean? But for the most part, this narrative that's being pushed that, black players just, if it wasn't football, if it wasn't for this, he would be, he'd be dead or in jail. And, it's like, nah, man, Najee Harris did not suffer as much as they butter it up in them stories. They just did that for ESPN so that they could have blogs, E60 specials, and good programming for they failing network that no one's watching as much as they used to. But let me know what y'all think about this. If y'all heard about it in the comment section, I'm out.